Hi, my name is Adriny. I'm going to talk about Puerto Rico, and I didn't find a way to put the slides somewhere as I'm talking, so my laptop is here with the slides, and I'm going to check so I can know how I'm talking and which point I'm going to. Yeah. And first of all, geography. Puerto Rico is an island. It belongs to the United States. The official languages are English and Spanish. The president is Donald Trump, even though the Puerto Ricanos, they cannot choose the president. They don't have the right to vote because in 2017 they chose for that. It had an election, and Puerto Rico was going through a huge economic crisis. So they decided they wanted to be a part of the United States. They were having like a hope that the United States would help them with money, which is not really happening. But they gave up on the right to choose a president for them, and they only choose their government, but that person doesn't have an active voice in Washington DC. They just are there like to say they were there because they actually don't sign much, even though the president of the United States is also the president of Puerto Rico. So it's kind of fair, but only 22% of the people that could actually vote in 2017, they went to vote because the others were like silently protesting. But you can see today that this silent protest wasn't a good idea because they lose the election, and the 22% that went to vote decided that they wanted to belong to the United States. They wanted to have Donald Trump as the president, and they cannot have any voice when it comes to that. And the population is more than 3 million. The capital is San Juan, and their money is United States dollar, since the United States is like they rule Puerto Rico. And as a tourism, Puerto Rico is basically made of tourism, since they had a lot of money from enterprise that didn't have to pay taxes, but these privileges were taken away. That's why Puerto Rico was running through a decade of crisis, and now they keep themselves from tourism. And in 2016, the last time it was checked, they had more than 3 million visitors, 3 million and 3.7 million, yeah. And in 2010 to 2014, they had 2.9 million, so it is like a huge increase. And the visitors from the United States, they do not need a visa or passport because it's like Puerto Rico is a part of the United States, so they do not need a passport for that. And the people that visit most Puerto Rico is British, French, German, Mexican, Canadians, Brazilian, and Asian tourists. And when it comes to touristic spots, I searched a lot and I found like 3 or 4. And El Yankee is the one the most talked about. El Yankee is a national park and is the only tropical rainforest in the Washington National Forest Service. And the name is a reference to Yuki that the indigenous people Taino they gave, and it refers to white land. And it's like the El Yankee, it belonged to white people at the beginning when the Taino, that was indigenous people, lived there in Puerto Rico. So that's the name. You can do hiking, you can go swim because have many natural pools and waterfalls. So you can go hiking, you can swim, or you can just watch and enjoy the view because it's a very beautiful view. It looks like it's a piece of Amazon, I guess, but it's like more open. I don't know how to explain, but it's very beautiful. And another thing that I thought that was really interesting that I had no idea about was that you can actually surf in Puerto Rico. You can go surf there, and even if you're aspiring surf or you're a professional, they have like many beaches where you can surf. They have championship there, and people can go surf, and they can learn because they have teachers and guides to teach you at the beach. And usually, and you can have you can see they have like this culture. It's not because they think it's a funny thing, it's a culture. People there, the locals, they really go surf because we usually think That's an Hawaii culture, and I didn't have the idea. Particularly, I didn't knew that Puerto Rico people, Puerto Ricanos, they could surf. It was their culture to surf, so I thought it was interesting. And usually the people go there at October to February, and in summer is more empty. It's an irony, but in summer it's more empty because the waves are not that big. So people who like to surf usually go to the most bigger waves, and that's not the case during summer in Puerto Rico. So people that want to surf go there in October or February, like this period of time, the end and the beginning of the year. And another thing that I found that was amazing is Cueva Ventana. It's like this huge space in Puerto Rico, and it's in Arecibo. It's a city, and it's amazing. It's like the Grand Canyon, but not that empty and rocky. That's a lot of trees and forest, and it's very, very, very beautiful. You can hike, and you can just sit there, and there's a lot of caves. The name is Cueva Ventana, and there's a lot of caves. You can just be there and sit there with your friends and watch the view. It's a really, really beautiful view. And if the teacher watching, I sent you the slides so you can check the pictures. It's very beautiful. And they have the iconic caves as like window-like opening. You can just get into the cave, and if you go through the cave, on the other side has this opening. There's like a window, so you can actually see the whole park. And if you go there, you learn about the Indian people, the Taino, the indigenous people, Taino, they lived there, and you can learn about their history, their culture. It's like a live museum, and you can learn a lot about them. And another thing about the culture and the food, the Puerto Rican food is a very rich food. It's African, Latin, Caribbean mixed kind of food. The principal dishes are much of beans and rice, and very temperate, like spicy food, and they put a lot of things in it, and has this spoon food tours. I found this in the official website from Puerto Rico government, and it's a really, really interesting thing because it offers a variety of experience for travelers looking to sample both modern and traditional Puerto Rico cuisine and cocktails. So you can wake up and go to do this tour in Old San Juan, and it's the center of San Juan, and you can go there to go into many restaurants, and you can taste the food. They have many different foods. The traditional ones, as I said, they're more spicy, rice and beans, but a lot of chefs, they introduce Latin Americans, European, and Asian ingredients in their foods to make it more modern and different. But the most part of it, as I said, is this spicy, very temperate food. And in this store, you can not only eat, but you can learn about history and architecture. So you go with your group of friends, you wake up, or by the sunset time, you go to Old San Juan. There is a place in San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico, and you go there with your friends, and you can eat the food as a guide talk to you about how this food influenced the culture, how this food went through times, and how older people, the ancient people, they ate that food that you were eating, and how this food has this symbol to their culture. And you can learn about architecture because you go to this tour through the restaurants, and it's a very colorful city, so you can talk about the architecture and the structure. And more for that, you can choose the cocktail tour. Only adults can do this, and you go to a lot of bars. It's the same idea of the spoon food tours. You go there just to drink, and Puerto Rico is where pina colada, it's a cocktail, it was born. So you can go to a lot of bars to taste those cocktails, so you can actually know the history behind them, and the guide there that's guiding you, he's going to do the same thing, talk about the history, how it was made, how it affects the culture, and how the architecture interfers into that. And I thought it was really interesting because you do this tour while you were eating and you learn about the city you were visiting, the country you were visiting, the place you were visiting. So I thought it was a really cool way, and it's offered by the Puerto Rico government, the tourist secretary. They offered this, but it's paid, of course, but the money they receive, it comes back to tourism. It goes directly back to tourism to improve the tourism there, since it's their most important economic activity. So that was pretty much what I studied about Puerto Rico. I find out it was like a colorful, very, very interesting place to go. It's a beautiful island, have the most amazing beach that I saw in my life. So I thought it was very interesting, and I really want to go there now. So I'm sorry I couldn't show the pictures and show how it looks like, but if you get the slides, the PowerPoint, you can see. And I put a lot of pictures to illustrate, and it's very, very beautiful. I hope you like the presentation, and I hope you want to go there too, because it's an amazing place.